So in our last video, we talked about, of course, the brand new Weapon Series 7 coming in. If you want to check that out, link above, where we go over all the detail from how to get them to exactly how powerful they are, and did SHIZA get replaced. So today, we're going to be looking at, of course, unit to see if the unit or armor is better or is it on par with what we already have in New Genesis. But before we get into all that, I do like to say welcome back to your number one stop for PSO2 New Genesis gameplay, how to, and all that jazz. And yeah, we are going to be talking about our brand new Efitus Armor for, of course, melee, range, and we can't forget about all you techers. So with that, let's go ahead and give a giant thank you to everybody that's supporting for the month of October. Thank you, my dudes, and we will go more information into that in a bit if you want to get your name listed here. But for now, let's go ahead, let's jump into this. So the Efitus Armor is, of course, made up into 3 different types. Not surprising, this is pretty much what we have seen in the past. And these are only the 3 armor for the time being. We will see when we get more. Might it be before December? We will have to wait and see. But with these, there is a couple ways to get our hands on this. Of course, to start off with, there is the easy way to get your hands on it, which is by taking part in Rank 2 Dark Falls, and it will give you a chance to get all 3 of the armor. Outside of that, each of them do spawn in different locations. So let's go ahead, let's talk about Arga, which is, of course, a level of 57 armor. That one is, of course, going to be mainly used for melee as well as range. So with it being level 57, so this is going to be fairly easy to get, since this is not, of course, 75, since none of these are 75. So these should be easy enough to come by, at least on that point. But when we go ahead and look at some of the stats here, we, of course, got a few things of note here. So to start off, when it comes to its defenses, it begins at 39 defense, with it, of course, capping out at 90, so that will be at plus 50, where you can unlock this. As far as the other property, we do have 30 extra HP, as well as plus 4 PP, and then this is a plus 3% to melee and range, not tech. Tech will require its own armor here, but it does have the highest weighting as far as the percentage towards, I get your weapon or class. And as far as our elements, this did not have any resistances, so of course these are 0. So once, if ever, of course, blind, panic, poison, all that stuff ever come into play, the equipment will not have any. So if you do want to take a part in that stuff, it's safe to say we are stuck having to augment it. And if you're using it in Cavalis, there is no low temperature here or on any of the unit. So it's safe to say if you are still out and about farming up your SHIZA by taking on Ancients, these armor is not going to be for that. And of course, you will have to flip back to your other armor if you have it, if you want to farm. But as far as just straight blunt defense, as well as, of course, how much extra damage it will do for melee and range, that might be the one you want to go for. And to actually get our hands on it, that will require us to do rank 4 in Alio Combat Zone. So this, of course, will be the forest, as well as the laboratory, and also up in, of course, Mount Magnets. And of course, this have to be available. So at the time of this video, I don't believe it's available in all the areas yet. But as soon as the month wrap up, since I know throughout the month they are adding more and more of the plus 4 to every region. But nonetheless, once they are all in, or at least the ones that are in right now, you can head down to try to farm it. And once again, Dark Fall Rank 2 as well. So if you want to get your hands on a melee or range, obviously you're going to be hopping right back into Alio. And then on that one is Belta. That one is, of course, Pretty much the exact same stat with defense base at 39 with a hit in 90 at plus 50, and that one will be of course broken into two classes with of course range and tech, all getting plus 3. So this will be your full armor if you're playing a tech character to go after. Once again, no static element, no low temperature, none of that. And you will go ahead and find that one as well from Dark Falls, as well as retain combat sector. So that will be, of course, out in the area. Well, we found out about the Lady Sangi. I can never remember the name of that area. But nonetheless, you can find it there, as well as lower level. Once again, that will be a plus 4 only area to farm a Belta. So, once again, that is for Ranger and Tekka. And then our final armor here is SHIZA. SHIZA is, once again, of course, 39 to start off, 90 at plus 50, and that weapon will be plus 3% to melee and Tekka, and that one will as well give us a 30 extra HP and 4 PP. And then, of course, no resistance, no low temperature. That one is a little more interesting because we not only going to farm it, once again, like all the other ones, inside of rank 2 Dark Falls, but also in rank 3 Kavaris area. So that will, of course, be the Ruins, as well as Lot Central. And since we do not have rank 4 yet, this is the only one that will be a rank 3. So that one might be a little more faster and easier to get your hands on, especially at 65. And if you have a full party, you should be able to steamroll over the enemy a lot faster for that one at least. And of course, that one will once again also be a level 57 armor. So as you can see, the weapons does very much have a vibe that is seeming to be more made up of being, of course, tied. For example, would be like tied to doing multi-weapons, or if you are someone who are playing a main and a sub, and you have both weapons equipped so you can change on the fly. So these will be fantastic for that type of stuff. A little disappointing that I don't have any low temperature stuff. So that still means you will have to have low temperature armor if you still once again want to farm ancients. But as far of a placeholder armor to hold us in place to December, and of course hanging out in of course other areas such as Retain and Alio to farm up of course Wuggets and whatnot, and I guess as well as Kavara's heal for rank 3. These will probably come very much in handy for that stuff, and let's be honest, if you can get your hands on a Wugget, and not really much of a need for a Kaiser beyond just being safe, just in case Sega does require it down the road. But that is what the armor have at the moment. But how do they actually appeal to, of course, all the other armor we have in New Genesis at that moment? So let's go ahead and give this a look here. This is still technically only a second bet in slot, because Belgwin armor is still technically the best, at least at max with plus 50 anyway, because with just straight up defense, it will of course trump it by 2%. But the trade-off here is, of course, is mainly made up in, of course, data element, HP, and then also, of course, in whichever weapon type. Might it be melee, range, or tech? Of course, with this being plus 3, and of course, Belgon only having a 2.75%, so it's about 25% less. But the thing to keep in mind here is, of course, by getting this armor here, that will, of course, cover all 3 classes instead of just 2. So it got that going for it. Also, if PP count is higher, since the new armors are setting at 4, this is setting at 13. But you do, of course, lose 40 HP. As well as by having this armor, you will get minus 50% to static elements, or a lot of the static element anyway. So in one of them cases of a little bit of trade-off, if PP more important, it's of course having 1 armor instead of 3 or 2, depending on what class you play in. As well as, of course, you know, only being dropped down a little bit of a percentage and of course your overall output. So there's still a little bit up in the L. Porcelain, the new armor, if the defense, it technically best second in slot. Some of the other stuff that make up for it, such as the PP and trading it for more HP, might actually be worth it. And honestly, 2 defense is not all that much in Porcelain. Like for me, I will go ahead and take the extra 25% in damage. But once again, that kind of up to you to decide, especially if you already got this armor and you already have it augmented out, as well as if you have any augments on it to help with temperatures. Honestly, it might not be that big of a deal, but once again, that can be up to you. But from base stats as is, the new armor do got better defense, it do have better damage output, but you are caught losing the ability that could be used on 3 distant classes, as well as of course all the static element in the PP. But that's pretty much how this is setting right now. We will see if we get any more armor from this before we hit up December, or is it literally just going to be the armor set that's going to carry us for the next few weeks? So at that point, I get like 2 months. We will have to wait and see, of course. But nonetheless, that there is everything you need to know about Efitus Armor, and hopefully you have found this video helpful. If so, be sure to do the thumbs up, subscribe, hit all the wonderful bells up below. And of course, if you do want to check out my breakdown of all the new 7-star weapons, I will go ahead have a link above here so you can get a better look at that stuff. And of course, if you haven't already done the wonderful button below that say join on it, be sure to do that if you want to support the channel beyond everything. If you're not able to, just make sure doing a thumbs up, and of course watching my videos helps out so very much. So I do appreciate all you for watching and supporting, and as for any more support, I do want to give a giant thank you once again to everybody that either hitting that join button here, of course subscribing over on patreon.com/Maconn so you can get some goodies over there, or by subscribing over on twitch.tv/TroyMaconn. Well, right now we are still in the middle of a giant Halloween marathon right now. So if you want to get 15 plus hours a day of spooky Halloween games, be sure to head on over to Twitch and say hello. And with that, that's going to go ahead and do it for me. And I will see you all in the comments.